He said, training oneself in Shila, in moral purification, you see, is nothing very, painful or big or very costly or expensive, nothing of that sort. Very simple indeed. You start with voluntarily undertaking 5 principles of conduct. And these principles of conduct are verifiable. That means their results are found here and now by way of peaceful life and happy life, freedom from fear and anxiety and prejudices and all that sort of thing. So now, if you undertake not to kill a living creature, not to destroy life, not to kill, but on the contrary, promote the well-being of all life, not just your own community people, not just people belonging to your religion or your community or your class or whatever separation that you see, the human beings are very good at that. They know how to gang up and keep themselves separate from somebody else. This exclusiveness, no. But you see, goodwill towards everybody, loving kindness towards everybody, friendly feeling towards everybody, instead of hurting and harming a creature. Now once you take up this, you see, as a spiritual training, which means, number one, it's an undertaking, it's a commitment. And in Buddhism, that commitment starts with Saranagamana. You take refuge, Sarana of the Buddha, the supremely enlightened spiritual master of both human and divine beings. He is the supremely enlightened, most perfect being. Therefore you take refuge in him, that you too may become spiritually perfect. He was one day, like any one of us, imperfect. Then he climbed on the summit state of spiritual perfection. And having done that, he has given an example, he has become a model for everybody, that everybody can seek and gain. So first is commitment in the form of undertaking. You see, with a refuge, you take Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the 3. And then, in the name of Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, as you commit yourself. So if a person, let us say, becomes a prime minister of a country, he or she has to go before the public and say, take an oath. The oath says, I am now going to become a prime minister, or I am now a prime minister, and I shall serve the country, I shall do everything possible to promote the well-being and happiness of my countrymen. And if I fail, I am prepared to go to jail or to hell. That kind of thing, you see, you have to promise to the people. Oath, you take an oath. So here the oath, spiritual field, there is no oath as such. It's not a vow in the sense that you are prepared to go to hell. Why should you go to hell at all? There is no need to do that. They are foolish. So, but here it's a commitment. Your whole life you give them. You are prepared to give your whole life to, to uphold and to stick to what you commit to. You see. So now, you make this commitment and then say, I voluntarily undertake not to kill, but to save all life and promote all the good of all life. I undertake not to steal, but to give dana, to give you see, cleanse my heart from pettiness, from smallness, and make it great and big. I undertake not to commit sexual misconduct, but lead a pure life, a good family life, loyal life, you see, chaste life. And family life, the chaste family life is a very powerful life, make no mistake about it. You see, it is a kind of renunciation also. How? Now, renunciation usually means the renunciation of worldly life and becoming a monk or a nun. But when a upasaka and upasika undertakes Panchashila, then I am not going to, under any circumstances, indulge in sexual misconduct. He or she simply means, I renounce misconduct. And I shall remain loyal to my partner, and only for the sake of family, to build a family so that the line of this family chain will continue, and all the good traditions of my forefathers will also continue. All the good things my forefathers have handed over to me, I hand them over to my children. So this commitment is a very spiritual commitment. So in doing that, you say, I will remain faithful to my family, to my wife and husband, and never look at any other man or woman with a bad eye. That means you renounce immorality, immoral conduct. It is an act of renunciation of some kind, and a very wholesome renunciation. If that renunciation were not there, there will be no civilization whatsoever. Human beings will go like animals. The mother will go with son, father will go with daughter, brother will go with sister. That's what will happen. Animal existence. But with this, you see, monologous or this kind of family life that we have evolved through centuries and millennia. Now this marriage ceremony in Buddhism and therewith the renunciation of immoral conduct and sexual misconduct is something very beautiful, very clean. So like that, all the 5 precepts, I undertake not to tell lie, but to stick to truth, come what may. Because my goal is, ultimate goal is truth, the Four Noble Truths. The discovery of the Four Noble Truths that enabled Siddhartha Gautama to become the Buddha Gautama. I seek the same discovery to make. Buddha gained it, he discovered it, became enlightened, became liberated from the bondage of worldly existence, and he handed over that knowledge, that conduct, that heritage to all of us. And with the clear understanding that we too will have to work hard. We have to work hard to discover those Four Noble Truths. And that is possible only by taking up the spiritual training. This middle path, progression on the spiritual path. This middle course, mid-course progression on the spiritual path. That is what we have to do. So, and then giving up drinking. Just imagine how filthy and ugly it is, young people sitting out with bottles of beer and liquor, don't care anything about decency, about goodness of life, and it's terrible, uncivilized behavior. Now Buddha, by giving this Panchashila, has given us a tool and instrument of very great power and beauty indeed. A great civilization is built only by great conduct and a great effort to become pure through that conduct. So one trains the mind in these 5 precepts. And by training it, what happens? One develops virtuous life. Virtue, Shila. And once your mind is filled with virtue, you are liberated here and now from many, many mental defilements and worry and trouble and problem. For instance, you can be free from anger. You get quickly angry, you say, I am a very educated man and a big man, professional man, here, there, I have big home, I have lots of money, but you are full of anger. You can't control your temper. You have got so much of egotism. With the slightest thing you get upset. What a pity. So spiritual training means this. Develop spiritual life, virtuous life, and be free from being angry, from being, egotistic, from being greedy, from being, cunning and all that sort of thing. So here and now, a virtuous life brings so much of peace, so much of happiness, so much of reverence, so much of respect. I see our Upasakas are respected very much. I know Upasikas here who were not known at all to be very good and all that, but now they lead a very good life and they are respected very much indeed. Here and now you can see that. Now this is with reference to training and development. The third thing in spiritual life is called perfection. It is a step further from training program in spiritual training and development of mind, etc. It is perfection of exalted spiritual virtues. And it's known as parami. There are 10 paramis or 10 spiritual perfections. Only when these perfections are accomplished, are fulfilled, it's only that one can really attain Nibbana, spiritual liberation and freedom from the sufferings of worldly existence. So, no matter whoever it is, if you are seeking to be free, to be liberated from all forms of suffering, there is no other goal. You have to commit yourself to the perfection, to cultivation of the fulfillment of the perfections. Dana, Sila, for these 10 perfections are, for instance, the perfection of giving. Formerly, a person was not able to give even a bit, not even one piece of paper. Now, after training in Dana and in Sila, the person can give away anything, 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees very happily, without feeling at all. So it's a matter of training. So you train yourself in Dana, develop generosity and perfect in the perfection of Dana, giving, charity and generosity, giving. So these 10 perfections, how they are perfected through these two modes of training and development as a pursuit of spirituality. That would be the next point we will discuss. But today about training, still a little bit, I think we must go. Here is a story, and very, not only interesting but very instructive story. And I will relate this story to you. I will not mention about the place or the person or this, that, nothing, no detail. Just as a matter of happening. Now, here a family, a gentleman who earns very well. In our present term, he will be earning lakhs, not thousands. He is more or less middle-aged now, and he has a good family. He has got actually quite a big family. Now his son, the first boy actually, he was a rickety young fellow, somewhere in the age of, in the teenager, between 16 and 20 or so. He was a bookworm, doing nothing all the time, either TV for entertainment or book. And he would gobble up book after book. You see, he was a member of the library and all kinds of books. A great book lover and a very bad health, always suffering from cold or cough or this or fever or this, some trouble, sneezing and stomach upset, can't digest things. The mother is worried all the time. The father is also worried, and the father is an athlete. He had been a champion athlete, you see, in many of the sports events. So he is very much troubled. He said, look at this. I have trained myself and my body. I am a bodybuilder. And in Olympic, I went as a bodybuilder. And then I got so many prizes. And I am now, you see, the college where I studied, they gave me all kinds of preferences. And I got a very good education. I got a doctorate. And I am a professor. I am everything that a human being can think of. Only my boy, look at this fellow, rickety fellow. So he consulted his friend. He says, what to do now? So this friend said, hey, there is going to be some event in such and such place. You had better take tickets for your whole family so that this guy can't escape. So he did that, he got the tickets. Very easily he got because he had already named. And the whole family went there. So he went on seeing, the whole day he spent in that, you see, enjoying all those various sports events, athletic events of all kind. Something clicked in his head. He said, look, how? Why not I become one like that? Sure, I can become. My dad used to be like this anyway. So he comes back home. He tells his mother. He says, Amma, look, I'm going to be like that fellow that Singh. Some Dara Singh or some such fellow he had picked up as his model. Some Singh, I don't know exactly this. Let us say it's a fictitious name. So the mother said, oh, what a miracle. Fine. So she told her husband, he said, oh my, I will give anything to him. I'll make him a member of a famous gym. And that is how the boy started his training in body building. And his father was a great tutor for him. Day and night he will go and behind him, you see, encourage him in this, in that, then eat this, eat that. All kinds of way he sort of kept up his interest alive and burning his interest, simply burning interest. Now this chap in 3 years' time becomes an athlete, a bodybuilder, a famous bodybuilder. And he follows suit, he follows his father's conduct. And this is real. In many families you will see these kind of things happen. So this is what happens when you undertake training. Don't underestimate the power of training. A person can become transformed with training. So train yourself in Panchasila and see the result here and now. You will actually be fulfilling the 10 paramis. So Lord Buddha said, look here, if a person is really serious and he means business with himself and is honest with himself, let him take to Panchasila and see what happens. He will build up a virtuous life, a successful life, material prosperity, anything. You ask anything, he will get. Both spiritual develop progress and material prosperity. Both will come. So let him take this, training program and develop himself spiritually as a virtuous person. Then automatically he has to take the next course of purifying the mind, because actions arise from mind.